It is given with the words, quote, "Let the menstruating nuns make use of it," end quote. Okay? Welcome back. This is Buddhist Books Podcast, episode 191, Tipiṭaka, part 119, in which we'll continue with the rules for nuns, Bhikkhunivibhaṅga, Pācittiya 43, and probably 44 and 45. And we'll see where it goes from there. If you would like to start at the beginning of the Tipiṭaka playlist, you can click here, and that will, start you with the rules for monks. That will go on for a while, and then eventually you come around to the rules for nuns, which is what we're reading today. If, on the other hand, that's very nice, the incense. If you would like to start with the rules for nuns, you can go ahead and click right there. There's nice art on there too. So you may have noticed, maybe, there was a little bit of a break there. And I got a haircut. My wife and I went to Fonteinhas, which is like a nice little area in Panjim, which is the capital of Goa, which is where we live, where I am now talking to you. Got some nice doggy music happening today, again. So yeah, I'm 45 now. Can you believe it? Wow. The dogs are really at it this morning. I will go ahead and get started with the reading. It looks like these are very short, so maybe I'll read more than 3 today. We'll see how it goes. You probably already know from the title scroll, the title might be really long with Roman numerals. It's okay. Happens sometimes. Okay. Expiation, Pācittiya 43. At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now at that time, the group of 6 nuns spun yarn. People engaged in touring the dwelling place, having seen, parentheses, them, end parentheses, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, quote, "How can these nuns spin yarn? Like women householders who enjoy the pleasures of the senses." End quote. Are there, if there's any women householders, in other words, women who aren't nuns out there who spin yarn, would you describe it as enjoying the pleasures of the senses? Comment below. Nuns heard these people who, 3 dots, spread it about. Maybe in 6th century BC, Bihar. They didn't have a lot of fun activities to do, so maybe that counted as enjoying the pleasures of the senses. Obviously, in 2023, never mind. All right, I'll keep reading. Those who were modest nuns, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, quote, "How can this group of 6 nuns spin yarn?" End quote, 3 dots, quote, "Is it true, as is said, monks, that the group of 6 nuns spin yarn?" End quote, quote, "It is true, Lord." End quote, the Enlightened One, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, "How, monks, can the group of 6 nuns spin yarn? It is not, monks, for pleasing those who are not, parentheses, yet, end parentheses, pleased, 3 dots, this rule of training. Whatever nun should spin yarn, there is an offense of expiation. End quote. Whatever means three dots, nun means three dots. Yarn means the 6 parentheses kinds of, end parentheses, yarn, linen, cotton, silk, wool, coarse hempen cloth, canvas. Should spin means if she herself spins in the action, there is an offense of wrongdoing. For every running D, what? I mean, I'm not a yarn spinner myself, so maybe that's a thing? Yarn D, there's a footnote. Ujavujave, a term used in spinning, found, I think, only here, coming from the same footnote writer that, never mind, seems to say, if whatever was rolled by hand, hatena, P-E-D, all caps, with periods after them, giving the reading pathena by measure, end parentheses, is twisted round on that spindle, parentheses, question mark, taka, end parentheses, there is one offense, end quote. So the translators don't understand, and they definitely don't want us to understand even what little they understand based on. Okay, I mean, they've got to make it difficult. It's not that important. So there's like an offense of expiation for every something that is involved in spinning yarn. All right. Again, not that important, but I'll keep reading. There is no offense if she spins spun yarn. Like refried beans? Anybody? If she is mad, of course. If she is the first wrongdoer. So if you spun yarn, if you spin yarn that's already spun, okay? It can also mean cut off. If she spins having bound together loose yarn. Or if she unspins what was badly spun, there is no offense. Okay, cool. All right, moving along. Expiation, Pācittiya, 44. At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now, at that time, nuns did household work. Those who were modest nuns, three dots, spread it about, saying, quote, how can these nuns do household work? End quote, three dots. It makes me wonder. No stairway.
No stairway. Denied.
Thanks, Wayne. So anyway, what was I saying? Right. Household work. I mean, I guess if you're staying in a vihara or like, a nun hostel, you're staying, what constitutes household work? Sweeping? Is that household work? I mean, because I've seen plenty of nuns sweeping. I mean, in Mahayana type monasteries. I'll just keep reading. Quote, is it true, as is said, monks, that nuns do household work? End quote. Quote, it is true, Lord, end quote. The Enlightened One, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, how, monks, can nuns do household work? It is not, monks, for pleasing those who are not, parentheses, yet, end parentheses, pleased, three dots, this rule of training. Whatever nun should do household work, there is an offense of expiation, end quote. I mean, I like it. I like that there's a rule against doing household work, because what is the point of becoming, I mean, aside from the obvious, being on the path and dedicating your life to the pursuit of nirvana, if that's a turn of phrase that even makes any sense. But yeah, if you're gonna, leave behind regular life and become an ascetic, and then do household work? Come on, like get up, fold the laundry, do the dishes, iron, vacuum, dusting. Like, come on, Lord Buddha sat under a tree for how many years? He didn't do any dusting, he didn't do any vacuuming. So I get it, but who does the dusting? Who does the vacuuming? Or do they live in... I'll stop. Okay, whatever means 3 dots, none means 3 dots. Household work means if she cooks congee or rice, or solid food for a layman. Well, yeah, don't do that. You're supposed to go with your bowl and get food that's already been cooked by someone else, and then eat it and then meditate. There's no time. You're cooking for laymen? What? Okay, yeah. Good that this is a rule. You're a nun. You don't do cooking for laymen. Okay, makes sense. I mean, now, I used to work with nuns, different nuns, Catholic nuns, obviously, a little different, and we used to cook for homeless people. I mean, I did most of the cooking, but I assume if I wasn't there that they would do the cooking, but maybe not. Maybe there's a rule against... No, I think they did cooking. Well, anyway, I'll keep reading. The 21st century Catholicism is different from 6th century BCE Buddhism, before they even called it Buddhism, right? They were just followers of the Enlightened One at that time. Okay. If she washes a cloak or a turban, there is an offense of expiation. Okay. They can wash their robes, though, right? There is no offense if it is a drink of congee. VA. What is VA? I keep thinking that that's going to be the commentaries, so I'm going to skip it, because if I read all the footnotes that are references to the commentaries, which are here on my right, it's my left, but from your perspective, my right. These are the commentaries, these books. So this is all Tipiṭaka here, and then here, and here are the commentaries from about 1,000 years after Lord Buddha. And they help to clarify the meaning of the Tipiṭaka. But my goal is to read the whole Tipiṭaka. Then later, after reading early Mahayana, then read the commentaries, and reading everything in order by century. Okay, so we'll skip the footnote. That's a lot for me to say, to skip a very short line. I know. If it is for the order, all right, yeah, the nun's cooking for the nuns, sure. But I mean, normally they go alms tour, right? If it is for worship at a shrine, leaving food at a shrine, there's something interesting. Every once in a while you get a little peek where, people will say, well, Buddhists don't X. Buddhists don't do this. The real Buddhists, the original Buddhists, Lord Buddha himself didn't do this. But then you get a little hint that, but maybe they did. Maybe they left food at shrines. Interesting. Okay. If in doing household work for herself, she cooks congee or rice or solid food, washes a cloak or a turban, if she is mad, if she is the first wrongdoer. So, yeah, so if a nun is just cooking something for herself to eat, that's fine. Just don't cook for, the local guys in the neighborhood. Fair enough. Next. Expiation, Pācittiya, 45. At one time, the Enlightened One, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now at that time, a certain nun, having approached the nun Tulananda, spoke thus, quote, "Do come, lady, and settle this legal question," end quote. The nun Tulananda, having answered, "Very good," end quote, neither settled it nor made an effort to get it settled. Then that nun told this matter to the nuns. Those who were modest nuns, three dots, spread it about, saying, quote, how can the lady Tulananda, being spoken to by a nun, saying, quote within quotes, do come, lady, and settle this legal question, end quote within quotes, and having answered, quote within quotes, very good, end quote within quotes, neither settle it nor make an effort to get it settled, end quote, three dots. Quote, is it true, as is said, monks, that the nun Tulananda, three dots, to get it settled, end quote. Quote, it is true, Lord, end quote. The enlightened one, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, shut up, doggy. No, that's not what they said. That's what I say. Different issue. Quote, how, monks, can the nun Tulananda, three dots, nor make an effort to get it settled? It is not, monks, for pleasing those who are not, parentheses, yet, end parentheses, pleased, three dots, this rule of training. Whatever nun, being spoken to by a nun, saying, quote within quotes, do come, lady, and settle this legal question, end quote within quotes, and having answered, quote within quotes, very good, end quote within quotes, parentheses, yet, end parentheses, if she is not afterwards prevented, should neither settle it nor should make an effort to get it settled, there is an offense of expiation, end quote. Bless you, doggy. Okay. Did that work? Whatever means three dots. None means three dots. Legal question means there are four parentheses kinds of, end parentheses, legal questions. Legal questions arising out of a dispute. Legal questions arising out of censure. Legal questions arising out of transgressions. Legal questions arising out of obligations. Do come, lady, and settle this legal question means, do come, lady, and decide this legal question. If she is not afterwards prevented means, if there is not an obstacle. Speaking of which, happy Ganesh, the word that comes after that, the holiday that just happened, if you celebrate. Or I guess we're in the middle of the 9 days. There was a lot of, fireworks and stuff, firecrackers. Did you come to this Buddhist channel for dogs constantly barking and jarring crackers in the street? I hope so. Because we're here to challenge the path to enlightenment. You could just turn this off and meditate. Then, you'd really be on your way. But no, you had to turn on YouTube. But at least you're getting somewhere in the middle of it all, some kind of translation of the Tipiṭaka. I'll keep reading. Should neither settle it means she should not herself settle it. Let me see if it works twice. Bless you, doggy. Wow. I mean, that time it only worked for like 5 seconds, but still a little weird. Maybe he's just barking when I talk. I think he is. He's barking in response to me talking. And all I want is to have him not bark so that you can hear me talk. It's like the samsara is dukkha. Again, perfect example. This is those of you familiar with the Chaldean oracles of Zoroaster might be familiar with the dog-faced demons trying to pull down the soul from concentrating on its higher studies, never showing true gaze unto true form unto mortal gaze, but in the case of that dog, He's not hiding anything. He's like, hey, I am a dog-faced demon. I am going to bark at you while you try to read Scripture. He's just very upfront about what kind of demonic entity he is. Okay, I will continue. Nor should make an effort to get it settled means should not command another. If she thinks, quote, I will neither settle it nor make an effort to get it settled, end quote, in throwing off the responsibility, there is an offensive expiation. So if someone asks you to help settle a dispute, you say yes. Also, if someone asks you if you're a god. Not really. That's from Ghostbusters. It's a good movie if you haven't seen it. Worth checking out. If she thinks that she is ordained when she is ordained, parentheses, and end parentheses, neither settles a legal question nor makes an effort to get it settled, there is an offensive expiation. If she is in doubt as to whether she is ordained, 3 dots. If she thinks that she is not ordained when she is ordained, 3 dots, offensive expiation. If she neither settles a legal question nor makes an effort to get it settled for one who is not ordained, there is an offensive wrongdoing. If she thinks that she is ordained when she is not ordained, there is an offensive wrongdoing. If she is in doubt as to whether she is not ordained, 3 dots. If she thinks that she is not ordained when she is not ordained, there is an offense of wrongdoing. There is no... let me guess the footnote. Oh, should probably read no offense. Says the clueless footnote writer, who's wrong, by the way, obviously, every single time they say that. There is no offense if there is an obstacle, if, having looked about, she does not get the chance, if she is ill, if there are accidents, if she is mad, if she is the first wrongdoer. I'm going to continue and read one more. These are excessively short, so maybe 2 more, but first... okay. Letting go of the anger, the feelings of grouchiness, toward the doggy, and toward the translation, and toward the footnote writer. All right. Okay. Back to the path. Back to not missing the point. Dressing up like this and reading this and then being like, I don't like dogs. I don't like translators. Stupid. Okay. Continuing. Expiation, Pācittiya, 46. At one time, the enlightened one, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the Jet Grove in Anathapindika's monastery. Now at that time, the nun Tulananda gave with her own hands solid food and soft food to players and dancers, 3 dots, C 28. This is 46, so they want you to turn back to Pācittiya 28 to find out what happens next. Is this like a choose-your-own-adventure book, or what? 3 dots. Quote, 3 dots. This rule of training. Whatever nun should give with her own hands solid food or soft food to a householder, or to a wanderer, or to a female wanderer, there is an offensive expiation. End quote. Whatever means 3 dots, none means 3 dots. Householder means 3 dots, C28. See Pācittiya 28. All right. Yeah, you want to know what a householder means? Let's hit it. Edward from Pācittiya 28, remind us what householder means. Householder means he who inhabits a house. Wanderer means, excluding monk and novice, he who has reached, parentheses, the stage of a, end parentheses, wanderer. Female wanderer means, excluding nun and probationer and female novice, she who has reached, parentheses, the stage of a, end parentheses, female wanderer. All right, solid food means excluding the 5 parentheses kinds of end parentheses meals and water for cleansing the teeth. The rest is called solid food. Soft food means the 5 parentheses kinds of end parentheses meals, cooked rice, food made with flour, barley meal, fish, meat. Should give means if she gives by means of the body, or by means of something attached to the body, or by means of something that may be cast, there is an offense of expiation. If she gives water for cleansing the teeth, there is an offense of wrongdoing. There is no offense if she gets, parentheses, someone, end parentheses, to give, parentheses, but, end parentheses, does not, parentheses, herself, end parentheses, give. If she gives, depositing it near. If she gives ointment for external, parentheses, use, end parentheses, if she is mad. If she is the first wrongdoer. Okay. Let's read one more. How many are we reading today? A whole bunch. I think we started with 43, and this is going to be 47. So if I could do math, I would be able to answer that question. That's 5, right? All right. Expiation, Pācittiya, 47. At one time, the enlightened one, the Lord, was staying at Savatthi in the jet. Remember to be grateful when the doggy isn't barking. Oh, it's so nice. Oh, isn't that nice? And we're not reading this translation. Oh, so much to be grateful for. All right. Well, it was nice while it lasted. I'm going to keep reading. Now, at that time, the nun Tulananda, not having given up her household robe, made use of it. Other menstruating nuns, oh, all right, I guess that the household robe means something you wear while menstruating. Okay. The other menstruating nuns did not obtain it. Those who were modest nuns, 3 dots, spread it about, saying, quote, how can the lady Tulananda not have hit menopause yet? I mean, look at her hair. Just kidding. She was probably younger. I just chose the wicked stepmother to, never mind. How can the lady Tulananda, not having given up her household robe, make use of it? End quote. 3 dots. Quote, is it true, as is said, monks, that the nun Tulananda, 3 dots, makes use of it? End quote. Quote, it is true, Lord. End quote. The enlightened one, the Lord, rebuked them, saying, quote, how, monks, can the nun Tulananda, 3 dots, make use of it? It is not, monks, for pleasing those who are not, parentheses, yet, end parentheses, pleased, 3 dots, this rule of training. Whatever nun, not having given up her household robe, should make use of it, there is an offense of expiation, end quote. This must be something that would have made more sense 2,600 years ago in Bihar than it does today in most places, I would imagine. But keep reading, because it's interesting. Whatever means 3 dots. None means 3 dots. Household robe means it is given with the words, quote, let the menstruating nuns make use of it, end quote. Okay. Not having given up should make use of it means if, having made use of it for 2 or 3 days, having washed it on the 4th day, she makes use of it, not having given it up to a nun or a probationer or to a female novice, there is an offense of expiation. I think I understand. So there's a special robe that nuns wear when they're menstruating, and then on the fourth day they wash it and give it to another nun who's menstruating. But if instead of doing that you just wear it, then it's an offense of expiation. Okay. All right. If she thinks that it is not given up, when it is not given up, parentheses and parentheses makes use of it, there is an offense of expiation. If she is in doubt as to whether it is not given up, 3 dots. If she thinks that it is given up, when it is not given up, 3 dots, offense of expiation. If she thinks that it is not given up when it is given up, there is an offense of wrongdoing. Okay. If she is in doubt as to whether it is given up, there is an offense of wrongdoing. If she thinks that it is given up when it is not given up, there is no offense. There is no offense if, having given it up, she makes use of it. Okay? If she makes use of it on a further occasion. Okay? If there are no other menstruating nuns, well, okay. I mean, that's reasonable. The special robe for the special time should be, if someone needs it, they should use it. But if nobody needs it, wear it. It's fine. All right. If she is one whose robe is stolen, if she is one whose robe is destroyed, if there are accidents, if she is mad, if she is the first wrongdoer. All right. Well, special thanks to the group of 6 nuns and to the nun Tulananda for your shenanigans that resulted in the rules that we learned today. Special thanks to you for going on this strange journey with me. And all right. Special thanks to the doggy. You know what you did. And to the train. All right. I will go ahead and close now. To the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us, and to the spirits below. We send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Until next time.